Well, the Ravens obviously value their secondary highly, and for good reason. And we've seen it pay out in the past, and now they're paying Marcus Williams $70 million for 5 years, and he's a really good player, although it is a different scheme. So let's kind of get into the film and talk about kind of the intrigue here with this signing. All right, let's start off with this play. This is a good example of kind of just the ground he can cover, right? Because that's what you really want as a safety. Is if you're a center fielder type safety, just what's your range? How far you can get? How many yards are you covering on the field? If you're a defense, a lot of defenders like to say they want to be able to cover every inch of grass. Well, in order to do that, you have to have guys who can cover more than the average guy can, and that's what Williams can do. So the way this play works is it's going to be man coverage. He is the deep safety on this play. Only one safety is staying deep. It is Marcus Williams. There's a go route, but worth noting, the go route is on the opposite side of the field as to where Marcus Williams is starting this play off on. Williams is currently over the hash marks towards the top of the screen, whereas the go route is going to be closer, outside the numbers towards the offense's right, which is towards the bottom of the screen. And so look at how when Rodgers takes the snap, you are going to look deep, and you see for Williams what he's currently doing right here is he now reads the play. He reads that Rodgers is about to throw this one deep, but there's a lot of space he has to cover. I mean, this is relatively open, and I do think a good throw, this could be a completion. And I also have to mention, I'm not entirely sure if Rodgers fully read this play properly. I think that because obviously if Valdez-Scantling, the receiver who I've circled, if he just stays towards outside the numbers, I don't know if Williams can get there, but the throw is going to come back towards the middle. But still, look at the ground that Williams is going to be able to cover right here. Again, not a great throw from Rodgers. Should have been closer towards the sideline and was a bit overthrown as well, but this was still a very good play from Williams. Williams did a great job being able to cover that ground and being able to turn a mistake into an interception. Quarterbacks make mistakes, even great ones like Rodgers, but what Williams was able to do was just make him pay for that. And that's just what, a great safety can do, especially someone like that who can turn these incompletions typically into interceptions. Well, that obviously adds a ton of value. So that's part of what you pay for. Also, something like this in a more traditional sense, this is kind of what we see more of from safeties doing. And also, to understand the Dennis Allen defense a bit and what, the Saints asked Marcus Williams to do, it's a lot of cover two, which means that you don't have to cover the whole field. It's only covering half of the field, which sometimes means that you have a little bit more responsibility in other ways, though. Like, for example, this route, if it was cover one, you wouldn't expect him to come in and make a play on it, but in cover two, you might. And obviously, Williams is the one who I've circled in white. Look at how right when this play begins, what you see is that there is a little bubble right here for Rodgers to potentially make this throw, but Williams has stepped in and is kind of cutting that away. So while Rodgers could try to force this in if Williams was staying further deep, he kind of can't really do that now because Williams has stepped in. Instead, Rodgers is going to throw it, to a different receiver right here, partially because Williams did a good job of just being able to take that play away. So these are the kind of things that Williams can do. In fact, heading over to this one, this is kind of what you will see sometimes players do. And this is partially schematic, but also partially because it's Marcus Williams, where you see how this route could work on paper, right? A go route against cover two, there is going to be a little gap where Rodgers can try and make this throw. There is. So again, you can see how on paper, okay, there is a way for this play to work. But watch how Rodgers takes a snap, and he's going to get rid of the ball so quickly, and he gets it there in a hurry too. He doesn't put any air under it because you can't put air under it when Marcus Williams is lurking over. And again, part of that is schematics of course, going up against a cover two defense in general. That's going to partially factor in, but it just becomes even more dramatic because of the ground that Marcus Williams can cover. Also, a play like this is one of my favorite plays from Marcus Williams, where what's going to happen is that the first part of the play isn't that important, the actual on-script portion of this play. It's going to be a quarters coverage. You see where he's supposed to cover in white, he's the safety who's covering the offense's left, which is so not the zone all the way towards the top of the screen, but just one zone down. And you see the way this concept could work. One receiver kind of pushes the safety deep, but then another receiver can run over the middle. Maybe there's a gap where you can make this throw. However, right when this play begins, New Orleans does what New Orleans does. They're covering this well. They're reading the play well and making sure everyone is accounted for right here. You do see Williams kind of get in position, but there's not a lot that he needs to do. This is well covered by all of his teammates. However, just about a second later, something else is going to happen. On the other side of the field, you see over here, there is a potential touchdown awaiting the Philadelphia Eagles, and Marcus Williams is currently standing on the hash marks on the top of the screen. But watch how you are going to see Williams get all the way over, and he's going to be able to knock that play away. Just a fantastic feat of athleticism. And again, goes back to that range, right? He has great range, but also just great awareness to notice that when it happened as well. Just a lot of really good stuff from Marcus Williams. And finally, this play, again, this is kind of traditionally what we would see when we would see a good Marcus Williams play, is something like this. It's a cover 2 zone, and you see where he's supposed to be covering on the field. It's a zone to the offense's left. As you see, right when this play begins, you are going to notice that there is kind of a, there's a window where Jalen Hurts can make this throw. It's a relatively big window, but keep in mind, this is a far throw that Hurts has to make. He's going to have to make it 30 yards down the field, and he's standing on the hash marks on his own side of the field. It's going to be well outside the numbers to the top of the screen, so it's a further throw, and it's going to, that could give Williams enough time to run over and try and make a play. And because of that, look at how Williams can get over, and he's going to make a play on the receiver, actually, knock Smith out of bounds, and he made the play. It was ruled incomplete. So that's just kind of what he can do. He can do those things. He has big range. He has good ball skills. All the kind of things that you want out of a player, that's what he can give you. So yeah, I mean, as a whole, my kind of final thoughts are, listen, the first thing the Ravens have to do is just stay healthy. Obviously, all the injuries last year piled up. That was not great. But going out and getting a Marcus Williams, someone who, is used to more of a cover 2 type look, but the Ravens will certainly play some cover 2. That's the thing that they will do, although I would consider them more, in the past at least, obviously new defensive coordinator, so who knows exactly how it'll work. But in the past, we had seen a lot more blitz heavy stuff, single safety deep kind of stuff, which I think Williams could be fine in. I think, he has range, so I'm not that concerned if that's what they decide to do. Also, they're probably, to me, this could also be a signal that we're going to see a lot more cover 2 with going out and getting a guy that's typically what he's used to, So we figured the Ravens, they had been speculated as getting a safety. Tyrann Mathieu was another guy that they were that was what they were in talks with. They end up with Marcus Williams, who is a very good player and definitely is someone who's going to add a lot. And not a huge cap hit either at, $70 million for 5 years. The guaranteed money is a little interesting there because, again, 5 years is a long deal in the NFL for sure, but it might not all be guaranteed. It might be one of those things where, for example, the Randy Gregory deal, which was the exact same dollar figure and year length, that one was, same stuff there, but there's only $28 million guaranteed. So there's kind of an easy out in a couple years if Gregory sucks. I wonder if there's something similar there with Marcus Williams. So, we always have to wait for the details to come out of the contracts, which usually take a minute to fully come out. But as a whole, I'd like this move for the Ravens. The Ravens, you build the defense the correct way. They build it from the back to the front. That's how you should do it. That's why they've had good defenses seemingly always. So, yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this move? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.